Maybe it's a classic or maybe a flop. Has Katie seen it? She probably has not. She'll sit down and watch it if it's good or it's bad.
Hey, have you seen this?
No, Katie hasn't seen that.
Hi, I'm Katie, and if I had a nickel for every time someone said to me, wait, you haven't seen this movie? Oh my God, you need to see this movie, I'd be very rich. So this is my podcast where I finally watch those movies you all have told me I need to see, and I tell you what I think. Ho, 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 said Santa, and spoilers. Santa did want me to tell you there's spoilers. I don't know, at this point, chat. I stream on Twitch so much that I'm calling you chat. Chat, tell me, should I say spoilers before every episode? Tell me in the comments of YouTube or on my Twitter or in my chat on Twitch. I have a feeling that if you're listening to this podcast, it's pretty self-explanatory. Also, I could just say, hey, spoilers, but instead I ramble about it for like a good, 30 seconds now? Okay, I'm moving on. I'm watching A Christmas Story. This movie is the one that plays for like 24 hours on TNT network, like once a year. And yet I've still never seen it. This movie is in like the zeitgeist. I was on a walk with my husband the other day and someone had that leg lamp in the window, like the window to the street, just front and center. The leg lamp was in the window and I was like, that's a sign. I need to watch A Christmas Story for Katie hasn't seen that this year. This movie is from 1983. I've been watching so many 80s movies for Katie hasn't seen that. I kind of want to start doing some 90s movies though, because I love the 90s. There's something about that era that just speaks to me, and I kind of want to watch some more 90s movies, y'all. So tell me, what are some good 90s movies I should watch? The only things I really know about this movie is that doesn't a kid get shot in the eye with a BB gun? And there's like the part at the mall where he's going down the slide and he's screaming, and I think Santa's really scary. I actually don't know what this movie is about. Is it about like the kids' experience for Christmas? Or is it about a dysfunctional family? Is it about learning to not use toys to hurt other people? Is this the movie where the kid gets their tongue stuck on a frozen pole? Is that this movie? All I know, it's called A Christmas Story, so it's about Christmas, and it's perfect for this time of year. When I'm recording this, it is December 2020, and I'm doing holiday movies, for Katie hasn't seen that for the month of December, and this one seems like one I should have seen by now. This movie has a 7.9 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 77% on Metacritic, and then 88% of Google users liked this movie. Okay, I see you, A Christmas Story. I don't know why this plays for 24 hours on TNT. And how is TNT still a network? I mean, I'm just saying, I've seen so many transitions and ebbs and flows of television networks, but TNT is still going strong. So without further ado, I guess I'll finally see what the origin story of that leg lamp is, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. All right, I'm gonna go cuddle up with a blanket. Fun fact about me, I hate hot cocoa. I have tried so hard to like hot cocoa. I don't like hot cocoa, but I feel like I'm missing out on that cozy Christmassy thing that everyone's like, oh, I got a blanket and hot cocoa and I put little marshmallows on top. And I'm over here like, all right, cool. Why does it not taste very good to me? So I guess I'll make some tea, which it's not as Christmassy, I know, but I guess I'll make some tea. I'll grab a blanket and see what this movie's about. And I suppose I should mention really quick, I don't recognize any of the actors from this movie. And I also had to look it up. I had to dive deep to find out what the rating for this movie was, and it is rated PG. But also, this was the 80s, and like anything in the early 80s flew as PG, PG-13 before PG-13 came around. Everybody who keeps commenting on my stuff saying, hey, did you know that it wasn't rated PG-13 because that didn't come into fruition until July 1st of 1984. So I get that. I get that now, so I'll stop saying that. I wonder why it was rated PG. I get it now. That's a little fun fact. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm gonna go watch this movie and then I will tell you what I think. Well, hello there, one and all. Okay, I watched this. All right, I went ahead and I watched A Christmas Story. Why is this the movie that's on repeat? Like, why is this the one that TNT, but apparently I Googled it. TBS is the one that does the 24-hour marathon. But I guess apparently nothing's been announced for this year. Why is this the one that gets replayed 24 hours on Christmas Eve? If there's a more deserving movie, it's A Muppet Christmas Carol, and you can quote me on that, and I will die on this hill. If there's a movie I want to see playing 24 hours that's Christmas related, it's A Muppet Christmas Carol, okay? That's a great movie. That is a great movie. A lot of this movie is just a lot of gross stuff with children happening, like lots of faces being pushed against glass, a lot of drooling, a lot of tongues being stuck to things, or a kid shoving his face into a plate of food for way too long while the mom laughs and goes, "You're my little piggy." Y'all, this movie is fucking weird, okay? It does not... It was frustrating. Okay, this movie, when I was watching it, was like frustrating. It was frustrating, aggravating, upsetting. Upsetting might be taking it too far, but this movie actually gave me anxiety. And my thought is the reason why is because there was a lot of like kids screaming in it, or just like screaming in general. There's just moments of nothing happening and then utter chaos. It's just a loud movie, and there's just scenes that go on forever with kids and sometimes adults alike just screaming or handling things poorly. It's not what I expected. You know, A Christmas Story was not what I expected. It's all about this little kid, Ralphie, who's trying to drop hints to his mom for Christmas that he wants a BB gun. Like, the kid wanted this BB gun that I think one of his like radio show heroes used. And so here we are. The whole movie is just Ralphie, I'm assuming adult Ralphie, telling a story to somebody else about the year he wanted the BB gun. But it's really not about the BB gun. Because when he finally gets the BB gun and he like quote unquote shoots his eye out, which is such a huge, if I may be as bold to say, the only plot point in this movie. No, it's just like he does shoot, it hits him in the eye, and then he lies to his mom about it being an icicle, and then all of a sudden the movie ends with them all cozy and happy in bed. It was just like no payoff. The whole movie builds up to him getting a BB gun, and like that build alone is not very steep. And then when we get there, it's just such a annoying moment. That's the best way to put it. It's like an annoying moment. The acting in this movie was so bad from the children and the adults alike. There were moments where I'm like, oh, that was creative, or no, that's a lie. It was never creative. It was like a theater troupe got together and they're like, let's make a movie. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with theater troupes, but it was like a really, not so talented theater group that's local that was like, I have an idea. We should put on a Christmas show. I mean, we don't have a clear idea, but we can make it up as we go. Let's let's improvise and write it out as we go. And then A Christmas Story was born. It was just so not for me. This movie was not for me. There's a point where there's all these dogs running through the house, which I'm like, why does the dad have all these dogs? And then the dog's ear gets stuck in the door and it's whimpering and crying. And I know that it was very clearly a fake dog ear, but that was really upsetting to me. And it was meant to be comedic. Like, this movie was supposed to be funny, and like I could see where the jokes were, but it never made me laugh. It was just kind of one of those things that I watched with just bewilderment as to why it is popular. I mean, maybe I had to be a kid from the 60s. Like, maybe that was the time frame I needed to grow up in to be like, I relate to this. My childhood was like this. I remember sitting by the radio, listening to Little Orphan Annie and using my decoder ring in the bathroom. Like, maybe that would have resonated with me more, but legit, I also was telling my husband, it doesn't matter, like, with movies that are good, what time period they take place in. If the movie is good and the writing is good, you can relate to things and emotions and situations at least a little bit. And this one was just chaos. It felt like it was slapstick, but also it was like weirdly serious at times, and then like disjointed is the best way to describe this movie. Also, when they convinced the kid to stick his tongue on the pole, and then they just left him out there. And then the whole Scott Farkus thing and his little toady. I will say the Scott Farkus thing made me laugh because the kid just literally stood there and was like, and it just kept going. Like, if I could have been a fly on the wall or a part of this crew just to see how this all unfolded to get the end product. And the scenes dragged on. Every scene dragged on. It went on for too long that sometimes it was like uncomfortable. Just like the scenes in the school or scenes with the mom, like especially that scene where the younger brother is eating off of his plate with the little piggy thing. Like it went on for way too long. Even my husband was like, what? Why is this still going? There is nothing happening in this movie. It's like a bad play. Yet they had a set and it was a movie. And like when the dad got the leg lamp, first of all, that leg lamp was huge, but it was also really weird how the dad was so into the lamp. And then he's outside trying to get it positioned and he's telling everybody who's coming by, don't bother me. It's an award I won. It was just, none of this was endearing or relatable. I've been a child, allegedly, and I've wanted things for Christmas. And I feel like that's just a common thing all kids should have. And this was just weird. This is just weird. This movie was very abrasive to me. If you couldn't tell, if you couldn't pick up what I was putting down, I'm going to say this, and this might be controversial to some of you. I have seen Hallmark Christmas movies that are better than this. Okay, A Princess Switch on Netflix is better than this. This is one of the worst Christmas movies I have ever seen. I low-key hate this movie. I was miserable watching it. It gave me anxiety. The point when he's at the mall going to sit on Santa's lap, why was that scene was loud. There's screaming children everywhere, which yes, that does happen. Like that's a thing. Screaming children exist. But then Santa's just like, ho, 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 over and over. And the elves are just mean. And I don't know if the whole point was it for it to be overwhelming, but like the movie doesn't coherently fit together as to like, I'm not rooting for Ralphie. Ralphie should not get the BB gun. Ralphie's a 9-year-old with his priorities askew. And also what seems like a kind of lonely kid. And then his parents it all made me uncomfortable. You know what it's like? When I was watching this, it felt like I was at somebody's house for Christmas, but I didn't want to be there. And it felt like it was awkward. And I was watching them interact with each other and have their Christmas season together. Or like I was a cousin who didn't really know the family that well, but my whole family came over to their house. And then I just sat there for an hour and a half and watched them exist in a holiday. And it was just as boring as like real-time holidays can be together with people. And I'm sorry, I don't want to watch that. It's like actually living in a boring Christmas memory. Like I can't imagine leaving on TNT or TBS all day with this on in the background. I would probably pick up my TV and throw it outside in the snow or take a baseball bat to it because there would be screaming every few minutes. And then on top of it, no substance. Like I could take some screaming with substance. That's all I'm asking. There's also the scene where Ralphie allegedly says the big bad word and later on he's got the soap in his mouth and his mom's like, who taught you how to say that? And he learned it from his dad, but he lied and told his mom it was his friend Schwartz. And so then the mom called Schwartz's mom. And then we listen, I don't know, for a good 30 seconds, Schwartz's mom losing her own and beating her child. Oh man, nothing brings Christmas cozy to me like hearing a child get beaten over the phone. All right, I'm mad that y'all made me watch this. I am mad. I am disappointed, but I am also mad, okay? I love you all, but I'm also a little mad. I really don't like this movie. You know what? This is going to probably also make history. We already had one other movie like this, but I'm going to give it a rating of a 0 out of 10 Farkas laughs, okay? There is nothing redeeming about this movie. There's nothing relatable. There's nothing warm and cozy. It doesn't feel like a holiday movie even to me. I just feel like I'm watching a dysfunctional family attempt to celebrate the holidays. Like the mom seems unhinged. Dad is checked out. Ralphie's daydreaming all the time, which I mean, I don't need more of that in my life. I'm already living that. And then there's the forgotten younger son who doesn't eat food. All while intermingled with just this kid who wants a BB gun so bad, but then that never amounts to anything. And that's literally the only plot point. I need an explanation as to why this movie is in the zeitgeist. I need to know why this is popular. who paid who or who slept with who to get this movie played 24 hours a day on Christmas Eve. Because it's not because it's a good movie. All right, tell me what you think on Twitter at PlayKatiePlay. Tag me, come say hey, or come to my Twitch stream and say, Katie, this is why I liked A Christmas Story, or Katie, this is why I hated A Christmas Story, and then I'll give you a virtual high five, and that's at KatiePetersPlays on Twitch. The next episode, I will be watching another Christmas movie, and that is coming up in a couple weeks. I really want to have the Christmas spirit, so I'm hoping this next one will bring that for me. And I will catch you all in the next episode. If you want to hang out with me more, or if you just want to yell at me for my thoughts on a specific movie, I stream over on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/KatiePetersPlays. Also, feel free to follow and chat with me on Twitter at PlayKatiePlay and on Instagram at KatiePetersPlays. Music written and performed by Mark Can Do It. Katie Hasn't Seen That is a part of the Geek Generation Network. Until next time, keep your popcorn warm for me.